Hello and welcome to the weekend video. Fashionably late but not too late. And today I took the second go at the tentacle creature that was requested. You can see the artist's first rendition on the right and my final version on the left. If you just want to see the final thing, then jump right to the end where the full-on render is hosted, this time in 1500 by 1500 pixels, because I felt like it. There's also a section on the end where I just go into the coloring, because this time I wanted to show off that I actually finally managed to get the shading right on this creature. So the body has two different colors. As you can see, the underside has like a very much lighter color, and I managed to do that. So I started again from scratch, used the same starting idea as last time. I grabbed a sphere, shaped it into the form of this kind of egg, and then I extruded 4 pieces, this time separately, for the legs. This is one of the times where this is the only time where the whole thing actually crashed when I worked on the mouth. I don't know, for some reason when I started doing the mouth for the first time, the hexagon crashed, but the second time it didn't, even though I did mostly the same steps. Not really sure where the difference was here. So yeah, the mouse is just an extrusion, some welding of the edges back to the whole thing, and opening up the whole mouth section. And yeah, that's basically it. It's not really that complex. I think a lot of inspiration was a kind of Microsoftski from the Monsters Inc. movie. I think this is something I took as a kind of mental reference. I didn't really have a picture up from it. It was just like working on the whole thing. I also thought of a classic D&D Beholder, which was also in my mind when I did the whole thing. So these are the ideas that I basically worked with. I worked a little bit with the symmetry, but not really that much in this project. Most is just handicraft, and this led to one issue that comes up later when I'm doing the actual weight mapping, which is that the legs are not symmetrical. 2 of the legs are a unit, a face higher up than the other 2, and that led basically to the issue that I had to build a little bit more around when I did the UV mapping later on. But yeah, currently I'm working on the legs on the suction cups. This is something that I did before in the other project as well, and in hindsight I should have subdivided the legs more, so I had more things to go on. So I don't know if this will be the final version yet, or if I will do just another iteration on this. I also wanted to give it like a really big tongue, which I didn't do yet. So there's still some details on the model I want to actually work on before I go on to the next step, which would be rigging this whole thing. I'm not 100% sure if I'm really keeping this one, or if I want to work on it again. I'm kind of happy with how this turned out. Like right now it looks very kind of dumb, kind of simple. And one thing that added a lot of detail was actually the teeth that I put in, and I looking into what else I can change. The eye is also relatively basic. You'll see me fiddle around a bit with the whole thing later in the Daz Studio part, where I'm doing the actual where I'm putting on the textures on the materials basically, and yeah, this whole thing comes together better. The teeth itself are just tubes that I reshaped. One simple trick for the teeth is, or for anything like that, is you take a tube with 2 sections, you weld one of these sections, and then you grab all the lines that go vertically, that go from the tip to the bottom, and then you connect them, which would give you more iterations on the teeth, which would help with the whole shape, just stabilize this whole shape when you smooth it down. So this is smoothed down as well, and it looks kind of cool. The eye could probably be a bit smaller, be a bit more aggressive. It looks kind of simplistic in a sense, and I'm not really 100% sure if I want to keep it that way or if I want to work over the whole thing here. Yeah, UV mapping the eye is relatively simple. I cut it in the middle. The front part that you can actually see is the bigger part, that is the main part of the UV map. And here is where I noticed that I actually messed up kind of with the legs, that they are not on the same height. So I had to add some extra cuts into the whole model so that I could use those to cut the model into different pieces for the UV map. And these are actually, they came out really good. Really happy with how this whole thing turned out. In hindsight, I could have probably just done this in 2 parts. Right there, I cut it into the pieces of the legs, the head, if you so will, and the inner part. You can see that these are all parts here, and yeah, basically had the legs and the inner part, which I have rearranged right here. And one thing that I had to do is I had to make sure that the inner side of the legs, where the suction cups are, my bad, it's relatively late here, that these are not too small. So the UV map as itself, made from hexagon or cut from hexagon, is, as you can see, relatively small legs. The leg part is relatively small compared to the rest of the body, so I had to touch this by hand and just reshape the whole thing. I also kind of forgot to put this back on the top square part at the first iteration, so I had to just open it up and redeem this little mistake. But I'm really glad that on the first try the whole thing with multiple shader domains works. So you can see that I'm splitting the whole thing into 2 shading domains, which gives it 2 different materials. And then I decided I'm going to just mess around a bit and give it like all these bumps, all these warts about this body. And yeah, one issue that appeared is that a lot of the faces that I'm currently creating, like all the faces on the sides of the extrusion, the ones that are currently white, are not part of the main body. I tried to remedy that, but it gave me basically a third material just for these. So yeah. This is Daz Studio, and you can see that I'm just messing around with the textures here. I actually have all the textures, and you can see that the one of the textures is just for all the bumps, for the outsides of the bumps. But yeah, overall really happy with how this turned out. I hope you like it as well. And one of the next things, maybe the live stream, will be about rigging the whole thing, but probably a video, not the live stream. Anyway, that's it for this video. There is a render of the whole thing at the very end. I hope you enjoyed this. Was pretty fun to work it and to finally give the whole model an actual, like the whole idea an actual model. Yeah, as usually, stay healthy, stay safe, and hopefully, if you like, I'll see you guys in the next one.